The sky was gray, filled with smoke and dust. The alien village was no longer a village. It was only rubble now. Broken stones, burned houses, and shattered machines were all that remained. Silence covered the place, until footsteps broke it. A man named Eli walked slowly through the ruins. He wore an old jacket, his boots covered in ash. He was human, and he was alone. Eli had come here looking for scrap, something to trade back at the human base. This planet had seen too many wars. Aliens and humans once fought here. Now only ruins remained, or so he thought. He moved carefully, pushing aside metal and stone. Then he stopped. He heard it. A small sound. A faint, soft cry. Eli turned his head, heart pounding. He stood still. For a moment there was only wind. Then again, the cry. It was coming from beneath a collapsed building. Eli ran to the sound and dropped to his knees. He began pulling debris away, piece by piece. Broken wood, bent metal, sharp glass. The cry grew louder. It wasn't a scream. It was weak. Like someone very small, very tired. Eli pulled faster now, his hands bleeding. And then he froze. A small hand, pale and trembling, reached out from under the rubble. His breath caught in his throat. He whispered, "Hold on. I got you." He cleared the last heavy rock and found a child, but not a human child. It was an alien. The child had soft blue skin, small horns on her head, and glowing silver eyes filled with tears. She looked no older than 5. Her body was bruised. She was shaking. Eli looked around. No one else. No guards. No adults. No soldiers. Just this tiny girl, half buried, half dead. "I'm not gonna hurt you," he said gently. The girl didn't speak. She blinked, lips trembling. She looked terrified. Eli took off his jacket and wrapped her in it. She was cold. Too cold. He picked her up, carefully, like she might break. "Let's get you out of here." Suddenly, a sharp noise cracked behind him, a whisper in the rubble. Eli spun around, holding the child close. Nothing. But someone was watching him. He didn't know it, but high on a hill, hidden behind a fallen statue, the alien child's mother was watching. Her name was Kalira, and her heart was breaking. She had searched for hours. She thought her daughter was dead. She had seen humans destroy cities. She had fought them in battle. She had hated them. But now, this human, he was not killing. He was saving. Kalira stayed hidden, her eyes full of pain and confusion. Eli didn't notice her. He moved quickly, looking for shelter. The wind was getting stronger. The smoke was thicker. The child whimpered in his arms. "Shh. It's okay," he whispered. "I've got you." He found a broken house half standing. He entered carefully and laid the child on an old mattress. He touched her forehead. "Burning. She's sick," he muttered. "And scared. Just like me once." He dug into his bag, a water bottle, some rations, a heat patch. He placed the patch gently on her chest. The girl blinked up at him. Her lips moved. She said something, but not in English. Still, he heard the tone. It sounded like, "Thank you." Eli smiled. "You're safe now." But outside, something else moved. A mechanical click echoed from the forest edge. A red light blinked between the trees. A war drone, one left behind by the enemy, had detected movement. Inside the house, Eli had no idea. He just held the child's tiny hand, hoping she would stay awake. Her breathing was shallow. "I don't even know your name," he whispered. "But I won't leave you, I promise." Outside, the drone scanned the air. Target human, target infant Zarkali. Command. Terminate. The red light locked onto the ruined house. Still watching from above, Kalira saw the blinking light, and her blood ran cold. Her daughter was in danger. And the human? He was going to die protecting her. Her hands tightened into fists. Her armor was cracked, her weapons were old, but she had made a vow. Whoever saves my child, I will protect with my life. Kalira stood, her eyes burning with fury and purpose. The wind howled louder. The drone began to move, but something far more deadly had just started moving too. A mother. Kalira moved like a shadow through the broken hills. Her armor was scratched, her cloak torn, but her eyes were sharp. She followed quietly, step by step, tracking the human and her daughter from a distance. Her heart was beating fast, but not from fear, from disbelief. She had seen her village fall, her mate die in flames, and her daughter buried beneath the stones. She had thought her child was gone forever. But now, from the edge of the cliffs, she had seen something impossible. A human had found her daughter. And instead of hurting her, he had saved her. The old teachings whispered in Kalira's mind. Her clan's forgotten law, the sacred vow. If one saves your blood and you cannot repay with equal gift, then you owe them your life, or your name is dust. Kalira had once been a war general. Now she was only a mother, and she had a debt to pay. Inside the ruined shelter, Eli was trying to stay calm. The little alien girl had stopped crying, but her breathing was still weak. He sat beside her, holding her small hand, not knowing what to do next. "Where are your people?" he whispered. "Why is no one coming for you?" The child didn't answer. She simply stared up at him, eyes glowing dimly in the dark room. He gave her water, broke a ration bar in half. She took one tiny bite and then closed her eyes. Eli sighed. "I shouldn't be here," he muttered to himself. "One wrong move, and your people will think I kidnapped you." He didn't know Kalira was already near, watching, judging, and remembering. Kalira stood in a silent grove nearby, kneeling before an old root. She placed one hand on the dirt and whispered an ancient vow in her own language. Her voice was rough, but steady. "By the stars above and the bones beneath, I swear this oath. He who touched my child with mercy will be marked as kin. From this day my blade is his shield, my breath is his guard. I am no longer alone. I am bound to him by life debt." A gust of wind moved through the trees, as if the old gods had heard. Then she rose and vanished into the shadows. Eli looked up suddenly. He had heard something, a slight shift outside the broken door. He stood up quietly, picked up a broken pipe from the corner and stepped outside. No one. Just trees, fog, wind. He turned back and froze. A tall figure stood inside the room. Kalira. She was dark-skinned, with glowing tattoos down her arms, sharp ridges on her cheeks, and silver armor that looked built for war. Her face was expressionless, but her eyes burned with power. Eli raised the pipe. "Don't come closer," he warned. "She's hurt. I'm not trying to." Kalira raised one hand, not in threat, but in peace. She slowly walked past him, her eyes never leaving her daughter. She knelt beside the little girl and gently touched her forehead. The girl opened her eyes. "Mother?" she whispered. Kalira's face cracked with emotion. She leaned down and kissed the child's head. "I'm here." Eli stood frozen, unsure what to do. Then Kalira turned toward him. For a long moment she said nothing, and then she knelt. She knelt before him. Eli blinked. "What are you doing?" Kalira lowered her head. "You saved my blood. I am in your debt." Her voice was heavy like thunder. "I don't want a debt," Eli said carefully. "I just couldn't leave her." Kalira looked up. "My people, do not ignore such acts. You are now marked. You are kin to me." Before Eli could respond, a red light flashed behind him. He turned. The drone. It had arrived. It hovered silently, weapons locked. Kalira stood in one swift motion. She grabbed Eli and shoved him aside. Just as the drone fired, she took the shot full in the chest. Her armor sparked and cracked, but she stayed standing. Eli rolled, grabbed the broken pipe, and charged. He smacked the drone, knocking it off balance. Kalira leapt high and landed on the machine, driving her blade into its core. Sparks flew, circuits fried, and the drone screamed before exploding in fire. Smoke rose in the night air. Kalira dropped to one knee, breathing hard. Eli ran to her. "You okay?" She looked at him. "I've had worse," the child cried out. "Mama!" Kalira stood again and walked back to her daughter. She lifted the girl into her arms, then turned to Eli. "You are not safe now," she said. "You helped her. That means you are one of us. The enemy will come for you too." Eli looked at the burning drone. "They already are." Kalira nodded. "Then come. My people will not trust you, but my oath is stronger than their fear." Eli didn't know what waited ahead, but when he saw the little girl smile at him, he followed. The forest was darker now, not because the sun had set, but because something terrible was flying above the trees. A war drone, sleek, silent, deadly. Its scanner pulsed red as it followed the trail through the broken village ruins. It had locked onto an old signal, one it was programmed to destroy. Inside a half-destroyed shelter, Eli didn't know the danger was near again. He was focused only on the child. Her breathing was steadier now, and she had curled up under his coat. Her name, Kalira had told him, was Ziri. Ziri. A small name. A big reason to live. Kalira was outside, sharpening her blade with a jagged stone. Her eyes moved side to side. She had once led troops into battles across moons, but now, her only mission was keeping her daughter and this strange human alive. Eli stepped outside. "Thank you for earlier. You didn't have to save me." Kalira didn't look at him. "You didn't have to save her." Silence hung between them. Then Kalira asked, "Why did you help her?" Eli shrugged. "She cried. No one else was around. She was alien. So am I," he said. "On this planet, I'm the outsider." That made Kalira pause. She finally looked at him. "You think like my people, but humans never do." Before he could reply, Kalira went stiff. She sniffed the air. "Get inside. Now." Eli felt the tension rise. "What is it?" She didn't answer. She just pulled him and Ziri back into the shelter. Above them, the war drone clicked into attack mode. Target, alive. Threat level, mixed. A red laser lit the leaves. Inside, Kalira crouched beside the doorway. "It's hunting." "How many?" Eli whispered. "One, for now." Eli looked at Ziri. She was still asleep. Kalira handed him a small blade. "If I fall, you protect her." "What? No, you're her mother. I am her shield, but now I am also yours. You carry my debt." Before he could argue again, a sound tore the sky. Crack. The drone blasted the roof. Kalira shouted, "Cover her!" and leapt outside. Eli threw his body over Ziri as splinters of wood and stone fell like rain. Outside, Kalira landed hard and rolled into a crouch. The drone's red eye focused on her. She rushed forward, dodging a laser blast, and slammed her blade into the drone's side. Sparks flew, but the drone recovered fast. Eli looked out and saw her fighting, alone. He gritted his teeth, picked up a sharp rod from the floor, and ran out. The drone aimed again at Kalira's chest. "Hey!" Eli shouted, throwing the rod. It struck the drone's eye just enough to shift its aim. Kalira jumped on top of it, ripping open a panel. She stabbed her blade into the energy core. The drone shrieked. A shockwave burst outward. Kalira flew backward and hit a tree. The drone sparked wildly, twisted, and finally exploded midair, sending smoke into the cold sky. Eli rushed to her side. "Kalira?" she groaned. "Still alive." He pulled her up. She was bleeding, but she waved him off. "Check on Ziri." He ran inside. Ziri was sitting up, frightened but unharmed. "You okay?" he asked softly. She nodded, blinking at him. "You came back?" Eli smiled. "Of course I did." He turned to see Kalira at the doorway, leaning against it. Her face was pale. "That drone," she said. "It wasn't alone." Eli frowned. "You mean there are more coming?" "No," she said. "It sent a signal. Before it died. Others will follow." Eli's stomach twisted. "So, what now?" Kalira looked toward the hills. "Now, we move." That night they traveled by moonlight through the shattered woods. Ziri rode on Kalira's back, while Eli walked beside them. His body ached, but he didn't complain. As they reached a ridge, Eli saw something strange, a giant metal gate hidden beneath vines. Kalira touched a stone near it. The gate hissed and opened slowly, revealing a tunnel that led underground. "Where does this go?" he asked. Kalira looked at him. "To the last safe place we have." Inside, the tunnel walls glowed with blue light. Alien symbols lit their way. Ziri reached out to touch them, giggling softly. Eli smiled, but the moment was short. Suddenly, voices echoed from ahead. Kalira froze. "Who are they?" Eli asked. "My people," she whispered, "and they will not trust you." Eli stepped, back nervous. "Then maybe I shouldn't." Kalira stopped him. "You saved my daughter. You fought beside me. You are coming with us. But my oath makes you one of us." Eli didn't know if he was walking into safety or danger. But when Ziri grabbed his hand and smiled, he followed. He didn't know yet that some aliens would rather die than accept a human as kin. The hidden tunnel opened into a wide chamber carved from glowing crystal. Strange lights moved along the walls like living rivers. This was not a place for humans. It looked ancient, sacred, alive. Eli stepped in carefully, feeling like every breath might break something. Beside him, Kalira walked tall and silent, her daughter Ziri still on her back, sleeping lightly. Behind them, the gate slowly closed, locking out the world above. The moment the door shut, voices rose from the shadows. Several tall aliens stepped forward, weapons drawn. One of them, an elder warrior with bone armor and golden eyes, pointed at Eli. "That human has no place here." Kalira raised her hand. "He has saved Ziri." The elder's eyes narrowed. "He is still human. Their kind burned our cities." Kalira stepped between them. "I have sworn life debt. He walks under my protection." Gasps echoed through the chamber. A younger female warrior hissed, "That law is dead." "No," Kalira said firmly. "It is old, but not broken. If we abandon our own vows, what do we have left?" The elder growled. "He cannot stay." Eli spoke up, unsure. "I didn't come to stay. I just couldn't leave her there. That's all." The aliens stared at him, their expressions unreadable. Ziri stirred and opened her eyes. She looked around confused, then saw Eli. Her face lit up with a tired smile. "He helped me." Those 3 words hung in the air like thunder. Even the elder paused. Later, Kalira led Eli to a quiet chamber deep inside the caves. It was warmer here, with soft moss on the floor and glowing stones overhead. "This is where you'll rest," she said. Eli sat down, still tense. "Are you sure they're not going to throw me out?" She sat across from him. "They won't, not now." Ziri spoke in your defense. Eli shook his head. "I don't understand your people. One minute they want me gone. The next they allow me into a sacred place." Kalira was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke. "You think we are one people, one voice. We are not. We lost leaders, we lost rules, now we follow whatever is left." He looked at her, curious. "And what are you following?" She didn't answer. Instead, she asked, "Do humans always protect strangers?" Eli looked down. "No, most don't. But I wasn't always a scavenger. I used to be a teacher. My wife died in the early war. I left everything behind. I guess I just didn't want another child to suffer." Kalira stared at him longer than necessary. Her face was unreadable, but her eyes softened. "You carry pain," she said. So do you, he replied. She nodded. We are not so different, human. He smiled a little. Call me Eli. Eli, she repeated slowly, testing the sound. A small name, but strong. In the days that followed, Eli tried to help where he could. He gathered moss, fixed broken tools, and even helped cook when allowed. But still, most aliens avoided him. Some whispered when he passed. Others stared openly. He was the only human here. Ziri didn't care. She followed him everywhere when awake. She called him Ali, and laughed when he tried to say alien words. Kalira noticed how quickly her daughter trusted him, and it scared her a little. One night, as they sat near the central fire, Kalira handed Eli a carved pendant. It looked like a flame, wrapped in vines. What's this? He asked. A bond token, she said. It marks you as accepted. By me. Eli frowned. What does that mean? She looked him in the eye. It means you are no longer just a guest. He blinked. I'm not sure I deserve that. Kalira's voice was calm. You stood between death and my child. You risked your life. That is more than many of my own people have done. Before he could speak again, the elder stepped into the fire circle. We have watched long enough, he said. If the human wishes to remain, he must face the trial of fire. Kalira stood. He is not a warrior. But he is your marked one, the elder replied. Your bond demands a test. Eli stood slowly. What is this trial? The elder smiled coldly. You will enter the heart flame and face what burns inside you. If you survive, you will earn our respect. If not, your ashes will return to earth. Kalira whispered, You don't have to do this. Eli looked at Ziri, who had now come and taken his hand. Yes, he said. I do. The path to the heart flame was old, carved before any war, before humans had ever stepped foot on this world. Eli walked beside Kalira in silence. The air was hot, even underground. A deep orange glow pulsed from cracks in the stone walls. The closer they came, the more the heat seemed to rise from inside his chest, not just the earth. Are you sure about this? Kalira asked. Eli nodded. Your people don't trust me. This trial might change that. Kalira stopped him with a hand. This is not a test of strength. It's a test of truth. The flame burns through lies, even lies you tell yourself. Eli gave a shaky breath. I've got nothing left to hide. Kalira stared at him for a moment, then reached up and tied a strip of her battle cloak around his arm. Then walk in, Eli of Earth. Whatever happens, my daughter believes in you. So do I. The chamber opened like the mouth of a living creature. At the center stood a pool of glowing fire. Not like normal fire, but thick and golden like melted light. It didn't roar. It hummed like it was alive. Elders gathered on ledges high above the chamber. Kalira stood among them, silent, her hand resting on Ziri's shoulder. The elder warrior from before raised his staff. The trial begins. Eli stepped forward slowly. The heat hit him like a wall. His heartbeat quickened. You must enter, the elder said, and remain inside until your spirit is seen. Eli didn't understand, but he nodded anyway. And then he walked into the fire. There was no pain. That's what surprised him first. The fire didn't burn. It wrapped around him like warm wind. For a moment, he saw nothing, only gold. Then the vision started. He was in a ruined earth classroom, empty chairs and broken windows. The chalkboard read, Hope, half erased. Then he saw his wife, Anna, standing in a garden. She turned to him, her face full of sorrow. You're running, Eli. I'm not. You left. You stopped living. I couldn't stay in that world. It hurt too much. Anna stepped closer. So you ran to a war zone, looking for pieces of metal? No, Eli said, his voice cracking. I wasn't looking for metal. I was looking for something to matter again. She faded. Now he stood in the ruins of the alien village again. Ziri lay under rubble, but this time he walked away. No, he shouted. That's not what happened. The fire spoke, not in words but in feelings. What if you had? Would you still be you? Eli sank to his knees. I didn't walk away, I saved her. I'm still trying. That has to count for something. The flames pulsed around him. Not power, not blood. Truth. Only truth binds. The vision shifted again. This time, Kalira stood in front of him, her blade to his throat. Would you die for her? She asked. Yes. Would you live for her? Yes. Then she vanished, and suddenly, silence. The fire dimmed, and Eli stood, alone, trembling, but clear. Outside the pool, the watchers gasped. The golden light around Eli shifted into the shape of a tree, its roots deep, its branches strong. The elder's eyes widened. He is not broken. He is rooted. Kalira exhaled deeply. Her grip on Ziri's hand tightened. Ziri whispered, Is it over? Kalira smiled. He is still him. So yes, it is over. Eli stepped out of the flame, his skin glowing faintly, like it had been kissed by starlight. Sweat covered him, but his eyes were calm. The elder stepped forward. He did not bow, but he nodded. You entered the heart flame and left it stronger. Your truth was seen. You may stay. Eli looked up toward Kalira. She was smiling now, a rare, honest smile, and Ziri ran toward him, arms open. Ailey! He caught her mid-jump laughing. She hugged him tightly. You came back. I told you I would, he whispered. Kalira approached slowly. She looked different now, not just like a warrior or a widow, but something warmer. You faced your own ghosts, she said. Few come out of that unchanged. Eli looked at her seriously. I didn't do it to prove anything. I did it because I want to be part of something again. Kalira nodded. You already are. That night a feast was held, not grand, not wild, but filled with peace. Music from old instruments, shared food, soft laughter. Eli sat between Ziri and Kalira, no longer a stranger, no longer just a rescuer. He had become part of the fire, part of the story. And though the war outside still burned, something inside him had healed. The peace did not last long. Only 4 days had passed since Eli walked out of the heart flame. He had begun to settle into the alien sanctuary. Ziri smiled more, Kalira spoke more, and even the cold-eyed elders had started to nod at him in the tunnels. But deep above the hidden chamber, in the silent sky, something else had arrived. Something deadly. A dark ship. It hovered in the clouds, cloaked, unseen by most but not unnoticed. The enemy had found them. Eli was fixing a broken light crystal when the ground trembled slightly. A low rumble echoed through the stone walls. He paused. Did you feel that? Ziri, who had been humming beside him, stopped. Her ears twitched. Like thunder. Kalira rushed into the chamber, her face tight. Eli, come with me. He didn't ask questions. He grabbed Ziri's hand and followed. They ran through the tunnels until they reached the command chamber, where alien warriors stood around a glowing table. Kalira spoke to the elder. What did you see? The elder's face was like stone. A long-range scan, a ship has entered orbit. No signals, no lights, but it's there. Eli stepped forward. What kind of ship? Another warrior growled. A Purifier-class vessel, made by the same species that destroyed her village. Kalira turned to Eli. They're hunting. Again. Eli's jaw tightened. How did they find us? Drones. One escaped the battle, she answered. It sent a trace. It led them here. The elder slammed his staff against the ground. They'll burn everything. Again. A silence followed. Everyone knew what came next. War. Later that night, Eli sat beside the fire with Kalira and Ziri. The child was asleep against his chest, unaware of the storm coming. Kalira stared into the flames. "We've run enough. You want to fight?" Eli asked. "I want to protect her," she replied, "and that means I cannot run anymore." Eli looked down at Ziri. "Then let me help. I have knowledge your people might not. Human war tactics, tech strategies." Kalira raised an eyebrow. "You think they'll listen?" "No," he said with a small smile. "But you will, and you're the only one that matters." Her gaze softened for a moment. Then she stood. "Come, I'll show you something." They entered a locked chamber hidden behind 2 stone doors. Inside, under sheets of old vines and dust, were weapons, ancient and powerful, machines, blades, energy, launchers, even one human tech fusion cannon. Kalira walked to a control table. "This was my mate's last command post. He tried to defend the village when they came, but we weren't ready." Eli walked slowly past the weapons. "But now we are." He pointed at the fusion cannon. "That thing needs human fingers to calibrate. Let me work on it." Kalira nodded. "Then we prepare." In the next 2 days, the quiet sanctuary turned into a fortress. Eli worked non-stop, repairing weapons, wiring traps, and helping aliens understand human tactics. At first, the warriors watched him with suspicion, but slowly, they joined him. He taught them how to shield weaker chambers. He showed them how to turn light crystals into flash bombs. And when a young alien froze during training, Eli knelt down and said, "Fear is normal, but if you protect someone else, it becomes strength." Kalira saw this, and she began to understand. This man, this human, was not just brave. He was changing them. On the 3rd night, a soft hum rose in the sky above. The enemy had landed. The outer scouts returned with trembling voices. They're wearing black armor. No face, no words, just death. Kalira stood tall. "We hold the ground, we defend the heart." The elder looked at Eli. "And you, Earthborn, what do you say?" Eli placed a new charge into the cannon. "I say let them come." As the battle began, the sanctuary shook with sound. Lasers lit the dark like lightning. The enemy stormed the outer tunnels, but they didn't expect resistance. Eli's traps worked, crystal bombs blinded, rewired energy beams cut through armor. And Kalira, she fought like a queen of fire. Every enemy that came close to Ziri met her blade. Eli took the fusion cannon to the upper level. When the enemy broke through the gate, he aimed carefully and whispered, "This is for every child you left crying in the rubble." Boom. The entire tunnel shook with light. But then, something massive stepped through the smoke. Not just a soldier. Commander, 10 feet tall, arms like machines, voice like thunder. "Bring me the girl," it said. Kalira stood in its path. "You will not touch her," she said. Eli ran to her side. "You're not alone." Together, they faced the monster.